Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said he wanted an open hearing to tell his side of the story, and he did. He answered questions before the Senate Intelligence Committee, questions which dealt with the Russia investigation, why he recused himself, and the firing of FBI Director James Comey. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales was inside the hearing and shows us the testimony, which at times got heated.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
It was an opportunity to set the record straight.
Let me state this clearly, colleagues. I have never met with or had any conversation with any Russians or any foreign officials concerning any type of interference with any campaign or election in the United States.
Among the tough topics for Attorney General Jeff Sessions, questions about Russia, including his own meetings with the Russian ambassador, and whether or not he worked with the Russians to help Donald Trump win the White House.
The suggestion that I participated in any collusion, that I was aware of any collusion with the Russian government to hurt this country is an appalling and detestable lie.
Sessions was also grilled about his recusal on the investigation into Russian influence in the election and his role in the firing of FBI Director James Comey.
Mr. Comey said that there were matters with respect to the recusal that were problematic and he couldn't talk about them. What are they?
Why don't you tell me? There are none, Senator Wyden. There are none. I can tell you that for absolute certainty.
Sessions says the reason for his recusal, he was following Department of Justice policy, which forbids an employee from investigating any case which he has a personal or political relationship with anyone who is being investigated. The Attorney General declined to answer certain questions during the hearing, citing an obligation to protect the privacy of his conversations with the president. Now, that answer frustrated several of the senators.
It's my judgment that it would be inappropriate for me to answer and reveal private conversations with the president when he has not had a full opportunity to review the questions and to make a decision on whether or not to approve such an answer.
The hearing got a bit heated when California Democratic Senator Kamala Harris started firing question after question.
Are you aware of any communications?
A lot of people were at the convention. It's conceivable that somebody came up to me.
Sir, I have just a few.
Well, you let me qualify it. If I don't qualify it, you'll accuse me of lying. So I need to be correct as best I can.
But the hearing also had a moment of levity when Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton asked Sessions if he was familiar with spy fiction like Jason Bourne or James Bond.
Have you ever, in any of these fantastical situations, heard of a plot line so ridiculous that a sitting United States senator and an ambassador of a foreign government colluded at an open setting with hundreds of other people to pull off the greatest caper in the history of espionage?
Thank you for saying that, Senator Cotton. It's just like through the looking glass. I mean, what is this? I explained how, in good faith, I said I had not met with Russians.
Eric Rosales, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
Overseas, another tragedy hits the UK. At least 6 people are dead and 50 are hurt after a fire burned through a 24-story apartment building in London. More than 250 firefighters were on the scene to fight the fire Wednesday. Witnesses say screams could be heard from the building.
People are jumping off buildings, people are screaming, help me, help me, help me.
London fire officials expect the death toll to rise and are calling this an unprecedented incident. An American student held in a North Korean prison is back on American soil. Otto Warmbier was convicted in March 2016 for allegedly committing anti-state activity. His punishment, 15 years hard labor. The regime released Warmbier on Tuesday after his parents discovered recently that he'd been in a coma for almost a year. George Thomas has the details.
And it is meant for serious patients in serious situations like this one.
Otto Warmbier was rushed to a Cincinnati hospital shortly after arriving from Pyongyang late Tuesday night.
You can see him moved into the hospital.
His nightmare started in March 2016, when North Korea says they caught the 22-year-old trying to steal a propaganda poster from the hotel he was staying at while on a tour of the reclusive nation. A security camera allegedly caught Warmbier in the act. He was arrested and weeks later brought to North Korea's Supreme Court, where he pleaded for mercy.
Please, I have made the worst mistake of my life, but please, act to save me.
But the judge showed no mercy. In a trial that lasted just 1 hour, the native of Ohio was convicted and sentenced to 15 years hard labor.
Please save my life. Please think of my family.
Warmbier's parents hadn't heard from or seen him since he was sentenced and found out just last week that their son had been in a coma for almost a year. The Washington Post reports that Warmbier contracted botulism soon after his trial and never woke up. A senior American official tells the New York Times that Warmbier was repeatedly beaten while in North Korean custody. His parents released a statement saying, "We want the world to know how we and our son have been brutalized and terrorized by the pariah regime in North Korea."
We pray for him and we pray for his family.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson announced Warmbier's release on Tuesday during an appearance before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
At the President's direction, the Department of State has secured the release of Otto Warmbier from North Korea. He is on his way en route home to be reunited with his family.
In suburban Cincinnati, where Warmbier is from, the local community there prepared for his return by tying white and blue ribbons around his neighborhood.
The family's been through so much agony and stress that they just want to surround them with love. And I think putting up the blue and white ribbons, because those are Wyoming colors for the high school where he went, that kind of shows him support that we're here for the family.
His release comes as 3 other U.S. citizens are still being held in North Korea. George Thomas, CBN News.
Attorneys representing a high school football coach who lost his job for praying at midfield after games argued his case before a federal appeals court this week. Joe Kennedy was an assistant football coach for the Bremerton School District in Washington State. Attorneys for the school district argued that the prayers violate the Constitution because teachers can exert pressure on students, intentional or not, which can result in coercion. Kennedy's attorneys maintain that the prayers were a private expression of faith and therefore do not violate the Constitution. If you're looking to watch a movie without objectionable content, you have a new option at home or on the go with your mobile devices. The company VidAngel has found a new way to resume its filtering service after a lawsuit from Disney, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, and Lucasfilms. Ephraim Graham has the details.
It's been exactly 6 months since VidAngel has been able to stream filtered content to their customers, and the legal battle still continues, but the service now returns. Even as this Provo, Utah business fends off a legal battle from Disney and 3 major Hollywood studios. There's celebration inside with the announcement of new technology to allow their customers to easily filter offensive content from Netflix, Amazon, and HBO streaming services.
You know, it just made sense that we, if the studios are asking for us to pay streaming rights, but they won't sell us streaming rights, that the best option is to build the filtering technology on top of the streaming service providers that are available.
VidAngel founder Neil Harmon shared the news with faithful supporters here at company headquarters Tuesday evening.
We had customers and families invest $10 million so that we would fight this all the way to the Supreme Court, provide them what they need and what they want, and so failure wasn't an option.
A Supreme Court battle is still not out of the question. Attorney Peter Stris has argued 7 cases before the High Court, and he's now defending VidAngel.
The most important thing to watch is Hollywood's reaction to this announcement. Because if I'm wrong, and I'd love to be wrong, and Hollywood is supportive of this new technology and says, hey, this is what you should have done in the first place, I still think we're right and the lawsuit will continue, but what that will mean is that there really is a viable path to filtering.
This new technology means VidAngel can stream movies from all studios except for the 4 involved in the lawsuit. But that's an issue they hope to present before the court in just a matter of days. Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Provo, Utah.
Coming up, they are some of the best personal trainers in Boston, and they also happen to be ex-cons. See why these trainers are all pumped up about a second chance. In Boston alone, more than 50% of the city's shootings can be traced to just 1% of the young people who live there. Segregation and isolation often push these teenagers to violence. A few years ago, a team of trainers began using weightlifting to give violent offenders a second chance. Caitlin Burke brings us the results.
Squeeze your ladder, Miss Dorsey. Good job. Keep your chest tall, stomach tight. Good job, breathe in.
Personal trainers here at Inner City Weightlifting are considered some of the best in Boston. Trained by world-class instructors, they're sought out by some of the city's top businessmen and women. For these guys, this career isn't the one they anticipated, but as we found out, it's a job that's saving their lives.
Just about all of the trainers here at Inner City Weightlifting have spent significant time behind bars. Now they have a way to get out of the cycle that kept putting them back in jail.
I've been in jail a few times. I've been arrested for a lot of things. The last time I did time was 2013. That was my last case for a firearm.
At the ripe young age of 31, Carlos Lemon has been shot, seen friends die, and been arrested for things he's done and things he hasn't. Lemon says the violence from his old life wasn't as much of a choice as it was survival.
Putting your gun on your hip is a part of your you know what I mean? It's a part of your what should I say? Your outfit, you know what I mean? And it's not like a person's waking up saying, I'm gonna go out and shoot somebody. It's kill or be killed out there.
When it comes to getting off the streets, plenty of programs offer help, but not a real way out.
The streets is what we know, and it's just like, that's our job, that's our home, all in one, you know what I mean? So it's just like, we gotta get it how we get it, because everything else is not gonna work out.
They have to worry about rent, they have to worry about food, they have to worry about clothes. There's no way, and they have to worry about that from as young of an age as they can understand those concepts.
That's John Feynman. On the surface, he shares little in common with someone like Lemon, but he has a passion for disrupting the system that Lemon says almost destroyed him. In 2010, Feynman started Inner City Weightlifting, or ICW. One early challenge, how to reconcile his dream of changing lives through weight training with the realities of life on the streets.
Me, being the little white guy from Amherst, Massachusetts that I am, thought that somehow weight training, we could get guys into the Olympics, we'd get them college athletic scholarships. And then we realized early on that most of the students we were working with had been shot. Nearly all had done significant jail time. They're coming from family incomes of less than $10,000 per year. The idea that somehow showing up at 3 o'clock to work out together, cool down, study for homework together, when most of our guys ended up being either expelled from school or dropped out for safety reasons, it was ridiculous. It would have actually excluded the very population of young people we were trying to work with.
Still, the ICW team moved forward, knowing they still had a lot to learn.
The only way to make this model work is to listen, and not to try to solve every problem or think that we have the solution, but instead just to respect the challenges that our students are going through, and most important, be there by their side.
By listening, they discovered ways to improve their program. First, they learned people wanted a true sense of community. Second, many people on the streets lack hope.
For most of our students, their 6-month outlook on life is death or jail, so we can't talk about an education or a career if they're not going to be around long enough to benefit from it.
This is where weight training makes a difference. Not only does it offer community, ICW provides a career track in personal training.
While it does create an income for our students, most important, what it started to do is bridge social capital. Not only is it creating a job, but it was creating this vast network for our students to be a part of, to lean on, to help solve for the challenge that they're facing day to day. And most important, it was giving people an opportunity to see our students for who they are as people, not a statistic on a piece of paper.
If you see me running from Kendall Square to here, and you're my client, or you're a client of somebody in my gym, you know that I'm running to the gym. I don't want you to see a kid that looks like me, he's running, you automatically think he's coming to rob you, he's running from the cops.
Don't give up now, you got it.
In 2016, nearly 400 ICW clients trained with a student trainer. While Sarah Downey originally came for the workout, She told us how her perception of the world changed as she got to know her trainer.
It really is a win-win because I'm coming here and I'm getting an amazing workout and my trainer is awesome, but you know, they're getting this entire new career and this entry point into this, you know, world that is a lot safer and a lot more accommodating than any of them have been used to. So it really, it is a life-changing workout.
That moved Sarah to use her network to bring her trainer other clients and provide him with odd jobs to make extra cash.
I've hired Eric to come do group workouts with our portfolio companies, and then they've continued to use them, do corporate training.
As communities and networks become inclusive, opportunities become endless.
Word up.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Boston, Massachusetts.
Up next, we sit down with worship leader, pastor, and songwriter William McDowell, and he tells us how his #1 song is impacting the nations. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to gifted pastor, singer, worship leader, and recording artist William McDowell. He may be best known for the tune "I Give Myself Away," but his latest project, The Sounds of Revival 2, is an undisputed hit. Take a look.
Now you got a new project?
Yes, Sounds of Revival, and I'm so excited about it. By God's grace and favor, it's our 3rd consecutive #1 project, which is just unbelievable because, again, I had no idea that that's what the Lord was going to do.
Give myself away so you can use me.
Now, the signature for you, at least the signature song,
Sure.
I Give Myself Away.
Yeah.
Where does that all fit in this whole process? When did that happen?
I actually recorded an entire CD called The Reason I Live that no one ever heard. And the reason why we finished it, recorded it, that whole thing. And I was actually in Nashville sitting with a friend of mine talking about national distribution for that CD. When right there at that lunch table, the Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to take up the pen as a writer because I have something else I want you to say. And so I said in that moment, knowing that, I heard the Lord, we can't release this CD. And of course he said, you're crazy. And I said, no, the Lord just spoke to me. He has something else he wants me to say. And so at the time, I thought I was either making the craziest decision of my life or the biggest faith step in my life. Now looking back, of course, it's the biggest faith step. But at the time I was literally walking away from, my mother had invested in that CD. And so she spent all that money. We recorded it at the studio that I owned at the time. And we laid that down, spent a year. And so I spent a year listening to what he was saying. I spent another year writing responses to what he said the year before. And out of that came I Give Myself Away and the CD As We Worship. We recorded it at our church. And a matter of fact, because we had written I Give Myself Away at church, I had always intended on it being a church song. I never planned on recording it. It wasn't even on our set list for the recording itself. We had recorded another song right before it called Give Us Your Heart. And in that moment of responding to God, the only appropriate response was I Give Myself Away. And the reason why it's so organic, and it was unrehearsed, unplanned, that kind of thing. It was just like, there's this song we sing at our church. And so I just started singing it. And the Lord took that.
You talk about talking to God as if you are talking to your mother, your brother, your sister. It just seems like such a natural conversation. And most of the world, I would venture to say, don't have that kind of connection. How do you get it?
Everyone can. No, everyone can. It's just a matter of posturing yourself to hear. I have a pastor friend that makes a statement that I absolutely love and agree with. He says the voice of the Lord is at a constant volume. The only time you can't hear him is when the noise level of your life rises above the volume of his voice. And so I think it's really the discipline of solitude, which most of us don't like. That's why social media is so big. We don't like being alone. We can be in front of someone else and want to know what someone else is eating across the world, because we just don't like that feeling. But ultimately, until you develop really the discipline of hearing, the posture of solitude, and really training yourself to hear God's voice. 1 Timothy talks about training yourself to be godly. And so one of the things we talked about as our church is we don't try to be godly, we train to be godly. And so ultimately you have to train your ear to hear. And he's speaking if you want to hear.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Amen to that. Well, you can find more of our entertainment news coverage by visiting cbnnews.com. We'll be right back. As churches become more involved in the international refugee crisis, one Iowa congregation is setting a high standard. Abigail Robertson shows us what they're doing.
Good morning.
How are you?
Zion Lutheran is not your average church. On any given Sunday, they offer services in 4 different languages, and those attending speak over 15 dialects. The inspiration that transformed this 150-year-old ministry into a 24/7 mission field came from one simple question. If our church closed, would anyone miss us?
There was no consequence. Can you imagine being a pastor of a church that really doesn't have a reason to exist?
Cleaning out the gum. In 2010, they prayed about the future of the church. God's answer revealed an unexpected plan.
Everybody got their seatbelts on?
In Luke 14, we learned that he wanted us to be a place that would bless people who couldn't bless us back.
So they took box lunches to a nearby low-income apartment complex, housing refugees from all over the world. They asked each person, how can we bless you?
We didn't plan anything, we just walked down the street, and everything unfolded because it's just a matter of faithfulness to God.
Zion began making weekly visits and also brought refugee children back to the church for tutoring. As word of their work spread, they caught the attention of a group of Burmese Christian refugees. The Mizus had been worshiping in a small apartment and needed a bigger space.
When I talked with Pastor John, he was like, everything you want to do, you can do it. This is God's house, not my church or no one's church. This is God's house.
Zion welcomed the Mizus in and gave them a service time. Then the church went a step further, sending someone to Burma to bring over a new associate pastor who spoke their own dialect.
The first service was very emotional.
We can freely worship in our style, in our language, It's very awesome.
Now the mission offers Arabic and Swahili services, along with a diverse youth program reaching over 300 students.
It's a place where if you're thirsty, you'll get something to drink. If you're hungry, you'll get fed. If you don't have a place, you'll find a place. And if you don't have a family, you'll join ours.
Not always easy making a place like Zion work, but on Sunday, when all the nations come together to worship God, the result is just beautiful.
Reporting from Des Moines, Iowa, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
That's wonderful. That's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. Have a great day.